Hi, welcome to Game Plan. I'm Rico.
I'm Lindsay.
Today we're going to be talking about our top 5 medium-sized games.
Yes.
This isn't necessarily weight, but just games that we felt are medium. So we want to discuss what is our definition of a medium game. So go ahead.
So I don't know if everybody can relate to this, but at board game conventions, a lot of times there are skinny long tables and then big round tables. To me, this was one of those that fit on one of those skinny long tables.
That makes
but
sense.
not like a tiny game that you would fit on like a half of one of those.
Sure.
So I would just try to think of games that we could play at board game conventions on those tables.
Yeah.
So
That was good constraint. I think everybody kind of has an idea of what you're talking about there.
Because those tables are just a little too skinny for some of the bigger games.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that would actually work. That would probably work for my definition as well, because I said I'm okay with a large footprint.
Yeah.
But it's a less than 2 hour game.
Oh, okay.
So and it's not length is part of it, but what I kind of put in that as my constraint is that if it's less than 2 hours, there's not enough stuff going on that it can be that big of a game.
Okay.
So, and I probably could have said 90 minutes. I think actually all of these would probably fall under the 90 minute range. And so it's like they're larger games, they're more involved than small games, and they're probably just as involved as maybe what I would consider large games, but there's just less of it going on, and so it doesn't take up as much of a footprint.
Okay.
Very subjective.
Yeah.
Wishy-washy, hand-wavy.
Medium game.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want me to go first or you?
Sure.
All right. My number 5 is Imperial Settlers.
I had considered this one as my medium. I struggled, actually. I almost put this in my small.
Yeah. I can
at 2-player
struggled as well.
I think it would be it's small enough and short enough that I would consider it small.
I can see that, but at 4, it's going to be more medium size.
Yep.
So yeah, really like this game. Just a card game with a few components that you use as currency.
Just engine building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Game.
Good call.
Yeah, thanks.
My number 5 is Gugong.
Oh.
And
okay.
This one's a stretch.
Yeah, it is.
But it's I'm sticking with it.
All right.
It's
you defend it on there?
Yeah. It's not that long of a game, and it's I don't think it's a huge, like you have your player board and you have the main board. That's about it, and just cards or something. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with Gugong.
Okay.
It's
all right, he's sticking with it.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's probably
a medium heavy game. Medium slash heavy.
People are gonna watch this and be like, okay, now I get where he's coming from on everything he's talking about now. If he thinks Gugong is medium, sorry, but yeah, I do.
All right. Okay. So Gugong. All right. Number 4 for me was New Bedford.
Okay.
It's bigger than a small game because it's got the tiles where you go by the buildings and stuff. But it's a little easier to understand once you get going and stuff than a heavy game or a big game.
Yeah.
So to me, it falls in the medium.
I could see that. So footprint-wise, it can get pretty big because you have all those tiles and you have to separate them out.
Yeah.
But I can totally see what you're saying because you only have 2 workers, and so your options are very limited in that sense. You can't, again, introduce too much. So yeah, I can see that.
Okay, thank you.
Good call. Thanks. Okay. So my number 4, I think, is probably a little more agreeable, hopefully. 7 Wonders?
All right.
No? It's just some card.
I mean, your tableau area can get pretty big when you're adding all your resources and stuff.
Not if you overlap your cards correctly.
I will agree with you on the complexity of it is pretty medium.
Well, yeah, but that's not what this is about. This is about because the game itself. I mean, unless you play again with 7 people, but even Welcome to is going to be a lot of room with 7 people. Each person is confined to a little, let's say, 18-inch by 12-inch space.
Okay.
That to me seems
that's fine.
Fairly medium.
Okay.
Because there's really no I mean, you've got your piles of gold and stuff, but there's no central area.
Right. Okay.
So,
That's fine.
I'm sticking to it.
That's fine. That's your medium. That's fine. Okay. Poor Rico.
Yeah.
He feels picked on. Okay. So number 3 for me was a game that we played just very recently, 2 2 nights ago. Isle of Cats.
Oh. You have no problem shooting the new games right up to the top of your list, do you? Okay.
Well, it's a good medium weight game, and it's got a bunch of cats in it. So.
Yeah, I would argue that this is not. You have that big old ship in front of you.
It's just the ship, and then you've got 2 piles of stuff. So
and,
you could
and you've
still
got,
do that.
So you've got a bunch of cats in the field on this side, a bunch of cats in the field on this side, then you've got treasures up over here, and then you've got treasures over here.
You have 8 cats
and then
on
you have a
each
huge
side.
stack of cards. And then each player has a board that's twice the size of your tableau in Seven Wonders.
But it could be
just saying.
Done on a small table. You would just have everybody's thing in front of them, and then this would be just a little closer together than what we were playing. So to me, that's medium sized. Like you could work it out.
I'm okay calling it medium sized, but I don't know why she's giving me shit over Seven Wonders with this one. And I think anybody who's played both will be like, yeah, no kidding, Lindsay.
All right. Come at me, bro.
All right.
All right.
Here it comes. Number 3.
Yeah.
Roll for the Galaxy.
Yes. Okay. Because your tiles and stuff can get kind of big in front of you, so it's not really small.
Yeah, but it's again limited to like what happens in the middle is really just a little thing that you mark so that everyone can know what phases are being activated this round.
Yeah.
But everything else is right there.
Right in front of you.
So I think it's a medium-sized game.
Okay, I'll agree on that one.
Cool.
All right.
And it's a great game. I like it.
It's one of your favorites.
And I don't think a lot of people. I know most people don't like it as much as I do because it is a little bit harder for me to find.
It's hard to
the opportunity to get this one.
It's hard to teach, I think.
It is a little hard to teach and learn the symbology and just conceptually the idea of activating phases that other people can activate, and then you can activate with any die. So the face does matter, but not always. But wait, when does it? And then you can dictate what?
And then you can switch some of them out for one, but you have to put it where?
Yeah. So
it was a difficult just to grasp. But once you've got it, you got it, and you're good.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. So my number 3 is Queen Domino.
Okay.
Because it's a little bigger than King Domino.
It is.
You got extra stuff.
You've got one more layer of things to buy there.
And you have like soldier dudes and castle dudes and.
Yeah, but they're all in that. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like on the table, there's more strip extra. Now that has stuff in it.
And it's a little more to think about.
Yeah.
So to me, that just popped it up to medium.
Yeah, to me that settles in at very small, but yeah, different definitions.
Yeah.
Okay. And so my number 2 is Adrenaline.
I almost put this on my medium.
Okay.
But I feel like I talk about it a lot, so I didn't.
I felt like this is a perfect example of a medium game.
Yeah, it really is.
It does play relatively quickly, and since the board's modular, you can kind of map it out to whatever the player count is to make it the right size. And then again, you just have your cards and the tableau and little cards right here, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I mean the game board, but it's just a plain game board with like one guy on it, right? Like it's not like a dude's on the map where there's tons of things out here. There's just one guy, and you move him over here, and then all right, I'm going to play this or whatever. So you could almost not have this. It would take away from the game experience.
Yeah,
but like as far as gameplay, you could just say, room 3-9 or whatever, and then everyone knows where you are or something.
That would be so hard.
It wouldn't be as fun.
That would be so hard for me.
But I'm saying like that's why.
Yeah. It's like playing chess, rook to h4.
So you could, right? Like you could theoretically do that, but it does take away from the experience. I wouldn't want to do that. But
I just feel like I have this on a lot of lists, and I don't think that's a good thing to take off a top list because you like it so much. But I just felt like it was on a lot of stuff, so I was like, I'm gonna, because it was number 5, so I was like, I'll just switch some things. Is that cheating?
My integrity can't be compromised, but you can do whatever you want.
Wow. Okay, my integrity can be bought. My number 1 is Between Two Cities.
And what? You get it?
No, I don't.
It's between two cities and...
Oh, and some other cities. It's between
two cities.
Two cities.
Okay.
Between a city and a city.
Okay.
Because the tiles can be, like your little city can be kind of big. You've got the the score thing, which is bigger than it needs to be.
It's way bigger than it needs to be, yeah.
And you've got one on each side of you, so you got to have enough room to manage that. So that was mine.
Okay.
I can see that you were not buying it.
No, I hadn't considered it, and it feels to me a little bit like a larger footprint game.
Yeah.
But that, again, just the nature of the way it scales with more people. Because if you have 3 people, then it's small. If you have 7 people, it's big. But that's just because you have 7 people. But you're right, because even like you compare it to like Quadropolis or Suburbia or something, whatever, the city that you're building here is, even when it's complete, very small. Even though there are 2 of them, there's technically only 1 per person with an extra one, right? Because you've got so it can be in between. So yeah, I think this is a good choice.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay.
All right, your number 1.
My number 1 is Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Again, like you have your little player board. There's the thing in the middle that basically is just holding all of the buildings. That's it.
Yeah, and then the rolls.
Yeah, but they're just sitting there to like, they're not like, you can keep those stacked up right here. You can have your wharfs, or not your wharf, but the boats just right here, and the captain one right here, and like all of that stuff is all just contained right here on that little center board.
Yeah.
And then you have your little player board, and the player boards are relatively small. I think it's a relatively small footprint on that.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. And the first time we played it on couches watching TV with just a little table in between us.
Mm-hmm.
So just a small card table.
Yeah.
I think you might be even smaller than that. Maybe the tray table.
I think it was a tray table.
I agree with you on that. Good one.
Thanks. And I love the game.
It's a great game.
Top 5, I think, might be my number 2 right now or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love it. If it's not my number, that's the problem. Is like my number 1 is size.
Yeah.
And then my number 2 through 5 are all of these.
Like mashed up.
Yeah, they're all just this. Yeah. And so Puerto Rico is one of those. Love it. Love that
I agree.
game.
I really, really like that game too. All right, guys. So those were our medium games.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think a medium game is. Let us know what your favorite medium games are, and if you agree or disagree with us.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sure that I'm wrong on my definition of medium.
We'll see. Let us know.